My name is Maria Hart, and I am the director of The Winter's Tale. I will also be playing the servant and the clown.
What inspired you to direct A Winter's Tale? And what unique vision are you bringing to this production?
I was doing the dishes at home, listening to a specific song, playing one of my favorite games, which is, what Shakespearean production would you pair this song with? And I was like, I would do it with The Winter's Tale. And then I realized, I have the cast. Because we had just done Dracula, Next Stage's first show back in October. And that was when I realized we had people. And that's how it happened.
Nice. What time period and setting are you using for this production? And are you keeping it traditional or giving it a modern twist?
Previously, I've actually done it where it's like sort of in like a medieval Renaissance looking time period, and I did not want to do that again. And so talking to our Leontes, because we knew his emotional personality worked for Leontes, he's like, no. And so I was like, okay, modern. And so I kept thinking about it, and there is a jump of 16 years in the script. And so I thought about that jump, and I was like, well, if we do it 20th century, let's start in the 50s and then jump to the 70s, because there's this gap, and show how radically life shifts when you think of like sort of the very, sort of straight-laced idea of like 50s values and the 50s housewife, and then you see, like the anti-war movement, the sexual revolution, like drug use, everything that comes around like over the course of the 60s, and how radically the world changes in a short amount of time. I was like, 50s to 70s.
Nice. The famous stage direction, Exit Pursued by a Bear, is one of Shakespeare's most memorable. How are you planning to make this moment special?
It's the most special moment in the entire canon. It is my favorite scene in all of Shakespeare. So, first of all, it's kind of traditional in terms of there are only 4 characters involved. But really what it is that you should be feeling a lot of empathy for the guy right before he gets chased off by the bear. And then you're supposed to laugh because it's totally inappropriate, because I believe that's what Shakespeare wanted, is he wanted to shock you out of the sadness.
So, Shakespeare's language can be challenging for modern audiences. How have you worked with your cast to make the dialogue more engaging and more accessible?
That is my particular background and training. I have a Master of Letters and a Master of Fine Arts in Shakespearean Performance from Mary Baldwin University. And they're affiliated with the American Shakespeare Center. And what they're really known for is very sort of like visceral Shakespeare, where people have a very strong command of the language, but it's also really, really fun. This one's been a little hard because this is not familiar, but part of it has just been taking the time, like going through rhetorical figures and showing where like the natural musical builds are already in the language to make the ideas land, but then also I always carry around my handy dandy Arden edition and like, boom, footnotes. This is what this means. And so like we're explaining, we're looking things up all the time so that our meaning becomes really clear.
That's awesome. And finally, the play explores themes of redemption, forgiveness, and fates. What messages do you hope that the audience takes away from your production?
One of the really nice things that just came up in rehearsal, like just within the past several days, is yes, this is a story of redemption, but it's realizing that redemption partly comes through the idea of grace, like the people around you who love you and look after you, who forgive you and give you second chances. But in turn, you have to create your own grace. You have to be recognized that there are these people out there who have your back, who love you, and you need to learn to love yourself because when you don't, it hurts them. So this is a story that starts like a tragedy, but it's a redemption arc. And so we get to see that it's this idea that people are there to help you, but they're not there to redeem you. You have to redeem yourself. And it's the process of watching this character who's incredibly flawed, but we learn to care about him because of everybody around him who cares about him. And we get to watch him actually redeem himself, which is very rare for a narrative. One of the closest things somebody likened it to is like a Christmas Carol and seeing what happens to Ebenezer Scrooge. It's that idea. It's got to be radical transformation. But you have to do it. The universe doesn't do it for you.
Thanks. And when will the show be starting and running through?
The show will be opening Friday, March 28th, and it will run Fridays and Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. and we will do Sunday matinees. We will have 3 weekends, so it will go from March 28th to April 13th. Our final performance Sunday at 2:30, April 13th.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.